Hello, everybody. This is Adam from Garbage Chute Droids. I am here with a very special guest because we're about to talk about the new release. So let me add him in here. Brent,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you? Thank you. I can't believe we haven't done anything like this just yet. Just
No,
the
no,
two of us
yeah.
chatting.
There's no
Uh,
excuse with the internet, is there?
no, I mean we're halfway around the world, literally,
Well,
from
except
each
for the
other. But
time. There's
yeah,
and the good thing is you're on the East Coast, so it's almost I think it's exactly 12 hours. You're exactly 12 hours behind me, so it's nice and easy to schedule things. LA's a little bit harder. The timing's odd. But
right.
um but yeah, no, it's good to see you again, man.
Well, you too, yeah. So everyone who doesn't know, I'm kind of the creator of the brand, I guess we'll say, of Garbage Chute Droids. It was all my idea, and it was about a year and a half ago at ICCCon 2019. We had been talking for a couple of years beforehand about Star Wars and Garbage Pail Kids and certain TV shows that are out there that definitely celebrate the nerdery side of life. But we've been talking. Then we got actually met up at ICCCon. I'm like, I want to commission something from you. My favorite droid is R5D4. My favorite Garbage Pail Kid since 1985 is Atom Bomb. I want a mashup of the two. And it was just going to be what I think it was just going to be a trading card size, right? Just a sketch card. It was
It
the
was just gonna
original
be a
idea.
one-off. Yeah, just a one-off piece of art. Yeah.
And you're like, well, if I do it as a 5x7, we can make cards and do other things. I'm like, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that
So
was my fault. Yeah, that's my fault. I dug myself in a deep hole from that day on, didn't I?
yes, you did. But but yeah, so what was it? A couple of month or so of back and forth, and I think we kind of had our first design, which again, this is my first YouTube video, by the way. I've never actually kind of created anything, so I'm going to play around with some controls here. I'll join in here, but yeah, I think our first idea was that Atom Bomb Bad Motivator,
Hmm.
which really just you did such a great job. I'm like, let me do something. I kind of created just these three cards, the base set. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if anybody will even buy these. They're just fan made cards. Let me throw them out there. I think it was like $5 for a set of three. I wonder if anyone wants them. And lo and behold, like I think in that first week, I sold like 50 sets of them. I'm like, okay, I think we have something here.
Well, it's a good
Um,
crossover. I mean, Garbage Pail Kids. Anyone who's already a fan of Garbage Pail Kids is usually a mad fan. They usually are. And then Star Wars is just so universal, isn't it? And those two things go hand in hand. I mean, me as a kid, when I collected Garbage Gang or Garbage Pail Kids stickers, it was Star Wars and Garbage Gang, Star Wars the movies and Garbage Gang the stickers and stuff. I was born
it
in
was
'83.
garbage. It was garbage gang, right? That's what they called
The
them in
Garbage
Australia.
Gang, yeah, and they were sort of like three quarters of the size of the regular cards. Um, and so yeah, I think it's a natural sort of mashup. I mean, Star Wars mashes up with almost anything,
Yeah.
but
But I mean, but that
hmm,
R5D4 idea, he was for those who don't know, he was the red droid who Luke almost bought, who in the very beginning of Episode 4, and he blew his top, and that's why Luke wound up getting R2. Although there's been a bunch of stories where he was a Jedi and he knew that he had to go. He had to have R2 go with Luke, and that's why he blew his top, and a bunch of different stories over the years. But I have a big collection of R5, and it was like that perfect mashup, and I know we went back and forth even on the design. Like, it should be in Tatooine with the two suns behind it, and I just
yeah,
came out
trying
of
to make
this.
it work and trying to make it look as much like Atom Bomb, where it's unmistakable, even if you're not a if you, I mean, it's pretty hard. If you know a little bit of Garbage Pail Kids and you know a little bit of Star Wars, I think you get it. I think you can kind of, it's the most obvious.
Yeah, for those who don't know, actually, I have one over here. Yeah, so right, this was right here. This was the Atom Bomb, the original. Although he wasn't the first one, right? He was technically number 8. Nasty Nick was number 1. But yeah,
Mm.
everybody knows him. He became such the face of Garbage Pail Kid. So it was so perfect, and then it was like, hey, people are buying this. Why don't we do? You said we could do an autograph version, and then somebody came up to me and said, why don't we? A big thing they do now, right, is like the C name of cards, like so, like a short print, like kind of limited version where you can get an alternate third name because Garbage Pail Kids always had A and B, and now they have the C, and then there's concept cards, and then somebody came and said, hey, you should do a metal card. So kind of me. So going back, and you can kind of see. So what we did was, had that whole idea of not just the A and the B and the base set for, up here. We added the limited edition, added a couple different concepts, added the autograph, and then I even at one point added the metal cards, which that was kind of the big rage about a year and a half ago. And so I kind of parted with the company, and I looked at a couple of companies, and that became a big hit. So then I had what I call my full set of 8 cards right there, if you include the sticker. Actually, the sticker came later too. That's a vinyl die cut sticker like the old Garbage Pail Kids too.
Yeah, they're great.
With Sticker Ninja was a company I use, and they do that. So actually you can peel it off, and it was great. So like, hey, this is good. I made my money back with what the cost for the commission to you and the cost of the cards. We should do more. All right. So I know we went kind of back and forth, which led us to Anthony Dangles. This was, I love this idea here where, I wanted to see C3PO. It was perfect. I came up with the name Anthony Dangles, which is why I wound up using this. Was actually Mobile was the card that it was based off of. And like Art Apart, which was from series 1, same idea where he's kind of off just sitting on the ground, and like would probably be a more recognizable card. But I mean, when you come up with a name like Anthony Dangles, for don't know, because the actor who played C3PO was Anthony Daniels. I mean, how do you not go with that? The mobile design, and and the carbon freezing, carbon freezing chamber on Bespin. I mean, that was just.
I think the good thing was as well that once you had the first card, the R5 card, then people understand kind of where you're going with it. So even if it's not instantly recognizable as mobile, this is where Garbage Chute Droids starts to become its own thing, where people instantly go, "Oh, I see what that is. That's a Garbage Pail Kids Star Wars reference." And to find out that it's mobile later on doesn't really matter too much. I think you can tell just from looking at it that it's all Garbage Chute Droids. Yeah.
So what's interesting at this point, so okay, now this is doing great. We're kind of expanding different things. And right around now, you also come up with a suggestion to me, which is you probably, we have all these kind of just Facebook message conversations. You're like, you can also start doing sketch cards and come up with a blank stock and have other artists do sketches of these, kind of like what Topps is doing. Which I remember talking to you a couple months later. You're like, that was me who recommended. I don't even think you remember that you had asked me, recommended doing that.
Yeah.
So with the
ideas.
third release, So like the third release, because we're like, hey, we have to keep going with this. What else can we do? Now brought in sketch cards, brought in wax packs. It even brought in action figures, which I'll show off some of those later. But the third one, like, what should we do next? So then,
did you not bring the wax packs in until the third one?
Third one was the wax pack.
Oh wow.
So that was in September. So let's see if I can bring that in there. So that was our assassin droid. So this was the Roy Bot Garbage Pail Kid. So and this one we had a hard time doing with, because I remember you and I going back and forth just with how IG-88 should it be, how Roy Bot should it be. And I think that limited edition concept was a little bit your first pass of like, what if it's more Roy Bot but with some IG-88 design? And then I think we all, I don't think either of us really were too happy with that.
Yeah, that was one of the harder ones to do, because it was the first time then, because I mean, with R5, besides the fact that he's sitting down, which he couldn't really physically do like that, but and Anthony Dangles is he's still got all the essential parts there and everything. This was the first time we had to kind of take two characters that are essentially the same thing. They're both robots, but they're very different robots. So IG-88 is basically a stick, and Roy Bot is not. He's like a mecha, like an anime style. So we had to find. This is where Garbage Chute Droids, we had to kind of find out, like, well, this now needs to be its own character. So we need to squish it down. We need to like pull and stretch and make it fit the card. Because if we made it to IG-88, it wouldn't look like it wouldn't be able to be recognizable as Roy Bot. And so, the bulk of the time spent doing that card was probably, is this too tall? Is this too squish? Is this too this? Is this too that? And it was it was frustrating a little bit. The final result was really good. It's probably one of my favorites, because I feel like it's the most original, the original mix between the two. I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out great.
Yeah. And that's when we also end up with it. And you can see it there. And then we also end up with, let me just back here, is the wax packs, right? And so for anyone who's familiar with either the original, actually, I'll do this, the original 1977 Star Wars or the 85 Garbage Pail Kids, you know, I took a lot of creative liberties and design elements of the two, and I made these, and it was pretty cool. And, you know, like today, you know, with most of the Tops packs and other things you do, there's, you know, random hits. You can get autograph cards or metal cards or the sketch cards. So, you know, we thought it'd be a fun idea, right? Where every one, you know, is numbered, sealed with a little kind of tamper-proof hologram. So they are all kind of random hits. And, you know, inside these, we did it. Gee, do I have it over here? I know I brought it somewhere. Where was it? Yeah. So I think in those, that
And
was
you
kind
put
of,
those together yourself, right?
yes.
You
So
there's no machine collating. That's all
Nope.
randomized, and you put all those hours in yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, in each of those packs, whether it was the pink or the blue, with the same 9 cards and 3 stickers. So it's basically your starter pack. It had all 3 of, you know, 3 cards plus the sticker for R5. It had the 3 cards. Never done this backwards. It's weird. You know, plus the sticker for that, and then again the 3 cards plus the sticker for the IG88, as well as a little, you know, thank you for your purchase, because there's redemptions in there. But yeah, I hand collated every single one of them. Also, you know, back in the day, right, with the wax packs, that top card would always, because they sealed that with heat. I mean, it's literally wax that they use basically an iron. So that top card always got a little waxy buildup. So I'm like, you know what? I always hated that. So I even put each one of them into a penny sleeve, folded them up. I have a little mini iron. So yeah, I hand collate, hand pack, hand iron every single one of them. Yeah,
Maybe
and
we
I
should
think that's
start staining. Maybe we should start staining some of the cards with wax stain just for authenticity. Just start giving people a ruined card every now and then.
that'd be really funny. I'll have to have a damaged redemption form as well. If you get a missing card, you can return it for
Yeah,
like
like
a special card.
deliberately miscut one. Yeah.
But yeah, so then we did that, and you know, we have some sketches, and I'll just kind of, I think I have a couple over here that I grabbed. So I have a bunch of sketches. These are actually some of the sketches that are going to be in the new design, and I'm just gonna grabbing some at random. But I mean, these are, so everyone has, you know, on the back you can kind of see they all autograph it, but these are just individual sketches that, you know, all different designs, all different styles, you know. And so actually this is interesting, because originally the idea was sketch just the existing characters, and then some of the artists were like, well, can I come up with my own mashups? And I'm like, why not? Like, and I think we said, you know, as long as kind of, I think, you know, 60-70% are our characters, sure, go ahead, have fun, you know, go over with it. And we've got some really cool ones, which will lead us to kind of, we did a whole reproduction set which came with the next release. So let's jump into the next release, right? So
Sure.
we're like, okay, what do we do next? So back over here. So then we said, hey, Dead Ted is still a classic one. And I'm like, you know what? This was actually what I think when we were talking about the C3PO card I came up with was, what about the Death Star droid as Dead Ted? And we can do the Death Star in the background and maybe a tombstone. So literally, I don't think I can zoom. Can I zoom in? Yeah, actually, let's see if we'll even zoom in here. So this one right here, you literally drew on a line piece of paper and just sent to me like, hey, I was just, you had mentioned that I started noodling. You know, what do you think about
Early
that?
on. This is
That was
before,
so,
really, yeah.
yeah, this was even before we finished the C3PO one, because I mean, we talk about the next couple of ideas going for a while. But again, I think just the way this came out with, it was just such a a fun mix, and it was so, again, easily identifiable if you know Garbage Pail Kids. You know, Death Star Droids isn't as recognizable as a character. I mean, he was only in the first movie for what, 12 seconds, you know, a little bit on the Sandcrawler, and then actually I think another version on the Death Star itself for a couple of seconds at one
Yeah.
point. Um,
It's a little
but
bit
you
of
know,
a deep cut. It's a little bit of a deep cut on the Star Wars side,
yeah.
and a very recognizable, on the Garbage Pail Kids side.
But it was just, again, so another fun idea. So we came up with that, and this was where I'm like, okay, the wax packs that we did were, oh yeah, actually, no. So the wax packs, right? The other thing was, I did the same 9 cards and the same 3 stickers in every single wax pack, and I realized that's, not very good for, people to buy multiples. You don't want to buy multiples to try to get a good insert card to get literally the same cards every time. So that's
Yeah.
when I went to my series 2 card. So this is where I actually came two versions of them. So I have, this the wax one. You can see they're actually individually numbered, still sealed, new red hologram this time. But I
Cool.
also created one where so these kind of I call my collector's pack. So there's a guaranteed hit in here. It could be a wax pack. It could be a full set of some of the 8 cards, metal cards, autograph cards. Actually, both of our buddies, Adam Goldberg, or Adam F. Goldberg, I should say, signed a couple of Garbage Chute Droids for me. Actually, no, some of his cards, because he had a whole line of 80s cards from the I Hate the 80s set that were
Yeah.
official Garbage Pail Kid cards. He signed some of those, and I inserted some of them into some of the sets. But again, from the buying multiples, people want to buy it, but also people want to buy them and not open the packs. I'm like, but there's something in here. So I created the idea of a hobby pack. So just for a few bucks. So these packs had 7 cards and 2 stickers. And I kind of, getting the wax packs, it's not cheap. It's not a quick process. There's actually a company called Sidekick Labs. They create, these are actual, it's not just like a piece of paper I tape. These are actual wax packs, just like they used to make, 30 years ago. So it's a whole lead time. So I kind of made a little bit generic side. So this little, I said, let's make this red spots as blank. And I have a whole line of stickers that I put a sticker for each number, or the hobby packs don't have a number. So again, if you want to buy multiple packs, you could pay just a couple of bucks and get a whole random set, and you always get the most recent sticker and at least one recent card. Or you can go this. But where we kind of started talking about the next set was the whole sketch cards became such a cool addition. I'm like, these are so good. Like, I hate the fact that, I can't keep all of them, because that's the hardest part. It's like, I commissioned all of these artists. I mean, a lot of friends, some people who came up to me like, I want to keep every single one of them, but I can't. That's the hard. It really is the hardest part.
You have to draw the line on being a collector, and at some point. So
I'm like, you know what? How do we do something? Like, let me take some of the best ones, and that's where we came up with the idea of the artist reproduction set. So these were all, and this was, I love this, the Tiki R5. But I mean, so these were all what I call my series 1 artist sets. These are all 10 different artists. So like, this is again, that Anthony Dangle's very Garbage Pail Kid like. But every single one of these were amazing designs that at least I can now insert into the wax.
And I'll say as well, just you flicking through those now, I would say, with the exception of maybe one, I could name every single one of those artists that did those, because they all have their own unique sort of style. And but it's all the same sort of thing. And that's the great thing with the sketch cards, is that even if you get the same character that you're going to get in the base sets and stuff, it's someone's complete unique take on that. It's a completely they're adding their flair to it, and it's almost like you could almost start adding those to your base set of that character, and you could end up having multiple, like 9 sheets of just the R5 character, not just your base cards, but also all your special ones, but then also your sketch reproductions as well.
Yep. And then they were also so cool, Mike. I was actually in another group on Facebook, Astromex Anonymous, and yes, that is a real Facebook group. It's a great group. It specializes just in Astromex, R5, R2, all those. And they had a kids art contest. I'm like, I should do the same thing. Why not? That was fun. So we had that first art contest just for kids. I think it was 14 and under. Winners, all of them will receive their own cards. We did a whole voting thing, but we picked around, and then we had our as well as the 8s, an 8-card set. All of these, just, you can tell some are better, artists, some are older, some are young, but they're all this statue of Boometry. I always love that. C3POs, which remind me of the cereal that was out there.
And these were in an age range, or these were?
So this was originally, it was just a 14 and under, and then what we ended up doing was creating. I think I did 2. I ended up splitting it apart to be like a 10 and under and 11 to 14. But then I said, once you had that, then the best R5 I liked, the best C3PO I liked, that's these. And then there was also the best, because a couple people did original. So like this one here, this is the FX7. There's just a lot of fun. So I ended up doing this. Now these I print, and I was like, the base set's the only way to get the artist sets is kind of one of some of my combos. I know we'll get to some pricing. We're here to talk about the next set, and it's been almost 20 minutes, and we haven't even revealed it yet, but we'll get there soon. But yeah, so the kids set, this is one again. I didn't want to make money off of the kids set, so this is where I've found out printing cards in bulk like this is definitely not cheap. But I'm like, anytime you buy a wax pack or a combo for $5 to get basically the 8 of these done, to the full 8 set, so you don't have to chase it or anything. Was just a fun way to do it. So yeah, so these, and I still have a few of the Series 1 sets available. But yeah, it was just kind of a fun way to do it. So of course, when we went to the new cards, I'm like, I have to do another art contest. And this time I did it to all ages. So we had a kids, so I think it was 10 and under, like 11 to 15, and 16 and older. The only requirement was you could not be an official Topps artist. I wanted this to be amateurs only. And interestingly enough, I wanted it to be
I'm
it
an
could be
official
anything.
Topps artist, and I still consider myself an amateur.
Trust me, you are anything but an amateur, my friend. But so in a moment, as soon as we're almost ready to reveal the next thing, but yeah, so we also have a couple of digital submissions every this time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun bringing in kind of the artist reproduction cards with the mix of yours. So, and what was interesting was talking about the reproduction. So one of the deals we have with the artists is, you and I do all of the design work. I mean, it's everything, right? The concept, I come up with the idea, we have chats, you do your designs, you send them back. I wanted to do one off next card off of another very recognizable Garbage Pail Kid. I think I have one of him here as well. Nasty Nick, literally 1A. All right, everybody knows the vampire with the doll. So I could not come up with a good Garbage Pail Kid mashup with Star Wars for Nasty Nick. I'm like, so I went to all of my sketch artists who we have, and I'm like, come up with one. If you can come up with one, this will be the first time where the design, didn't come from me. And at the back of every card says concept and design by Adam Marks, art by Brent Scotchmer. Like, what can we do? And so actually, one of the artists, Guy Holzer, came up with this amazing idea. So why don't we go ahead and introduce the next card? All right. So his idea was to take Nasty Nick